right, so we can all get out of the heat. So thank you for coming. I am Rebecca Fliszar. I'm the dietitian with the Heart of New Ulm. Natalie here is a dietetic student, and Sean is also a staff member with the Heart of New Ulm. So if you have questions, feel free to ask any of us. I have 3 recipes. I'm actually going to just talk you through the first one so you can see what it's about. So who here has ever tried edamame? Anybody? We got 2 edamame eaters over here. Okay, so what it is just like with sweet corn, you have your field corn and you have sweet corn, right? With an edamame, you have our soybeans and you have an edible soybean, which is called edamame. These are very high in fiber and very high in protein, and you know, they taste really good. They're a nice snack. They work just like a sunflower seed for me. We bring them to the ball games and we eat them just like any other snack, okay? So what you can do, who knows what hummus normally is made out of? What do you got? What do you think? Chickpeas, all right? So we're going to change the base of that. We're going to be using, actually we're going to make it today out of edamame. So again, very high in fiber, very high in protein, no cholesterol, no saturated fat, so a perfect way to get your snack, okay? So we're going to just have our edamame, and with that we're going to add tahini. Now tahini is something that we really should be incorporating into our diet. It's actually roasted sesame seeds, and it's made into like a paste. It's almost like a butter or a peanut butter. It's very, very high again in some of our proteins. It has quite a bit of fiber in here. It's very low in carbohydrates, so people watching their overall carbohydrate diet, it's perfect. It's going to be in your Asian food section, or we do have it in your natural food section at Cashwise. So it has kind of a nutty butter, not peanut butter, but a nutty flavor to it. It has the consistency of a paste. So let's see, I can show you here just, so you're going to see it's like a peanut butter, you can see that, okay, and it's going to taste great. It's really going to add a lot of extra flavor into your dish. When you add that with a little bit of lemon juice, and then I like to add quite a bit of garlic to mine, that's going to be your extra flavor, and you can add a little bit of salt to that as well, and then the base is going to be your olive oil and a little bit of cumin. Now, has anybody come to any of the cooking classes or watched the cooking show? Do we know where cumin comes from? Anyone? It's going to be the top of your fennel, right? So when you use a fennel, you can use your bulb, like an onion, your stems, and your seeds. Cumin is the seed of that fennel, all right? So when you buy fennel at the grocery store, got to come to the next class. Yeah, it's great. It tastes like black licorice, and it's going to have flavor all the way through. So you can use the bulb, the stem, and the seeds, okay? So that is one of our few things that we use the entire plant. We really have no waste, and we can really incorporate it into a lot of recipes. So that's your cumin. So when you blend those all together, you're going to put it in your blender, and this is what it's going to look like. Now, it might not look as appealing as you think, or most people are going to say, what is this, guacamole? You know, anytime you bring out anything green, but this is going to be a great hummus, very high in protein, fiber, low in carbohydrate, and really high in flavor. So actually, because I made this in a commercial kitchen, you guys can sample this, and Sean's going to come around with that as well, with a nice pita chip. Okay, so it's just something to start to think about as we talk about different recipes and different ways of cooking. Instead of always going with our staples, those dips and things, I want you to try thinking outside of the box. Try the edamame and see how well you like that, all right? So everybody take a minute to try that and let me know what you think. Does anybody have any questions on those ingredients, the edamame or the tahini, 2 new ingredients that maybe we haven't tried before? Anybody have any kind of questions about that? All right, we'll just take a minute then. I'll let you try that, and we'll get ready to go right to our next recipe. If anybody wants to try just plain edamame, if you haven't had that before, go ahead and come on up as well. This just came right out of the package. You're welcome to try that as well. Yeah, there you go, brave soul.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Where do you find this?
At all your grocers.
Is it frozen food?
Yeah, this one came from in Cashwise. It was in the health food section by Margaret, but Walmart carries it, and so does Chive in their regular sections. Alma, you want to try some?
Sure. What are they?
This is edamame, and then we have edamame hummus.
I never used those. I should try.
Yes, you should. There you go. Yes. So what do we think? Okay, did you guys get the dip, the hummus? Something you would put into your regular intake? You could use that? It took me about 5 minutes to make it. So when you talk about going to a barbecue or other get-togethers and you want to have health foods, it's one way to do it, and really quickly as well. All right, and I did use the baked pita chips, which is a fine choice as well. Okay. Yeah, those will go onto the website. Yep. Okay. The next recipe I want to go ahead and get started is we're going to do an island fruit bowl. So did anybody make it to Turner for our Mediterranean dinner? They had the great island fruit bowl, came off of our website, and I wanted everybody to try it. So now the original recipe is going to call for kiwi, mango, some other fruits, strawberries, and I'm just going to mix it up a little bit. Mangoes can be expensive, and that's something we incorporate into our diet too often. So I'm going to add in some raspberries. The nice thing about this is you can use just about any kind of fruit that you want. The base of it really is the pineapple, so you want to make sure you have that one. But beyond that, you can use just about anything you'd like for your fruits. All right, so we're going to cut these down. We have our strawberries that will go with this one. How do you like that hummus, Sean?
Really good.
Good. All right, so this is going to get added raspberries, which you would put in the bowl. And then kiwi can go in there. How many people eat kiwi on a regular basis? 50 cents. 50 cents for a full fruit serving. So oftentimes people say, you know, some of our tropical fruits and things are not what we would eat. They're too expensive. We don't incorporate them. These travel well. You know, you want to get one that's fairly firm. If it's getting too soft, that's not going to be a good kiwi for you anymore. You want to make sure that that's nice and soft. You know, and technically you can eat the skin. My daughter likes to. I can't stand that feeling in my mouth of that hairy fruit, but you can. Otherwise, you're just going to peel this like any other fruit you would have. Take your top off, peel it, and then you're going to use the inside. These are going to be high in fiber. And these are actually high in magnesium and some of our other fruit, nutrients that are going to be healthy for you as well. So we're going to put that in along with it. And then the base of this, again, like I mentioned, is your pineapple. That's going to give it that island flavor. And then what we're going to put on this is going to be just our Cool Whip. You can get regular Cool Whip if you want. Some people always say, do I have to get the fat-free? So let's think about that for a minute. We have raspberries, pineapple, kiwi, strawberries. If we put a little bit of fat in here on our Cool Whip, you're going to be fine. So you're going to put in about a cup to 2 cups of this, and you're going to have great flavor. And then the secret ingredient to this is really going to be a sugar-free pudding. And by adding that all together, you're going to get a nice creamy, almost like an ice cream texture to this. So I like to have my Cool Whip nice and frozen, have it nice and solid as it goes in. It's going to be nice and solid, nice cool like for a day to day. And to top it off, we're going to add a little bit of coconut. Now, if you look at your food labels, are we good about reading food labels? Everybody's comfortable with that? If you look at your food label on coconut, you're going to see it does have a little bit of saturated fat. Remember, as long as you have less than 7% of your total fat for the day come from saturated fat, it's still going to be okay. That goes back to our principle of everything in moderation. So if you see a little bit in one item, you don't have to remove that completely from your diet. It adds great flavor, and it's going to add a different texture to this dish. Okay, so how many people even like coconut? It's one that you either love it or hate it. Nobody likes it right in the middle, right? All right, so if you don't like it, leave it off. You're gonna have a nice ice cream texture, a lot of good fruit in there, and you're gonna have really good flavor. And I know you guys would have liked it if it hadn't spilled on the ground. All right, so the pineapple again is your base. Add any other fruits that you'd like into here. I do like keeping the kiwi in there, but the strawberries are cheap right now. The raspberries are coming in. They're great to add in there as well. So a nice flavor to have on that. All right, so very, very easy again. This is a less than 10-minute recipe. Make it to taste, and you're gonna have great. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention your cilantro is gonna add another kick in there too. So cilantro is typically found in our Mexican dishes, like your salsas and other things. It has a very distinct flavor. Kind of like parsley, it has a lot of calcium to it, so you want to make sure you keep that in your diet. So often we get parsley on the side of our plates and we don't eat it. We think it's the garnishing. Usually if it's with a burger and fries, it's the most healthy thing you have on your plate. So make sure you eat your parsley, your garnish on the side. Very high in calcium and a good addition to your diet. Okay? So that would be your island fruit bowl. If you do want to try it, we will be having this again at Turner Hall. We'll have the Mediterranean buffet this Saturday night. You can come, we'll have Pegasus whitefish, we'll have Mediterranean vegetables, Roma tomato and feta cheese couscous, and the island fruit bowl will be your dessert. So if you're out and about at Bavarian Blast, you want to come and try a great meal, that will be featured at Turner this week. Any questions on this recipe? None? Even though you didn't get to see it. All right. Okay, just 5 seconds and then we'll switch to our next one here, all right? Our last recipe that I want to do is a little bit different. So oftentimes we think we eat our fruits and we eat our vegetables, but rarely do we think to have them together. So can anybody think of anything they've had that would be together? Fruits and vegetables together. So what we're going to do is we're going to add our salad, and then we're going to put a fruit dressing on top of it. All right, so everything's going to be homemade, even our dressings. Thursday I did 2 different dressings. I did a balsamic vinaigrette, which is just olive oil with some balsamic vinegar, and we also did a lemon blueberry salad dressing. So that was lemon yogurt with some blueberries and a little bit of light mayo, okay? So for our salad today, I took my romaine. Remember, we're trying to switch to the romaine or the spinach, the darker green leafies, away from iceberg lettuce. So if you're having a salad and you're getting iceberg lettuce, that's very good, and I'm glad you're able to get those in. There's just not a lot of nutrients in that iceberg, so start switching to the darker leafies, okay? So this time we're going to use a romaine, about 1 head. You want to make sure it's well washed, rinsed, and we're chopping that up, or you can tear it, and this is torn romaine. Now you can add, again, any vegetables you want, and there's really not a good quantity to say for vegetables, so I'm just going to use some carrots because that's what's most available at our market right now. All right, I'm going to add those onto my romaine. You know, and the best tool that you can have in your kitchen is going to be a sharp knife. So people always say, well, you don't want them too sharp and so if somebody grabs in your drawer or whatever it is. But if you have a dull knife, you are more likely to get hurt because you're pushing so hard on that, you tend to lose a little bit of control. So keeping your knives sharp is going to be the most important thing you can do in the kitchen, Sean. Sean doesn't keep her knives too sharp. We're working on that. All right, we're going to throw those on there. All right, now I like to add a little bit of mandarin orange right into my salad here. I drain those, I'm going to toss that in there. So already we're getting at least a serving of fruit in there with our serving of vegetables. And you could see if we stopped right at this point, this would already be a good salad, right? That topping from your the juice just from the mandarin oranges is already adding a great flavor to this. But if you'd like, you can add things like cherry tomatoes into this. You can even add your edamame in here. I like to add a little bit of that on top of my salads. This is going to give it a protein base, so I can use this as a complete meal, right? So I have my protein, I have my carbohydrates, and with our dressing, we're going to get a little bit of fat in there. So this is going to make it for a nice meal. All right, so we have a nice looking salad already. But the trick to this one is really going to be our raspberry dressing. So something that we can make pretty easily at home. And what we're going to use is we're going to use some frozen raspberries. We're going to put these in a blender, and we're going to add just a little bit of white wine vinegar. It's going to take away a little bit of that acidic flavor of the raspberries. It's going to neutralize your flavor. Now you can use regular white wine. There's really no difference between the cooking wine and the regular white wine. So if you don't like to keep alcohol in your house, this works just fine. If you want to use regular white wine, you're welcome to do that as well. And then we're going to add in there, let me set these over here, a little bit of sugar. I usually like to use 1 to 2 tablespoons, depending on your flavor. It does add a little bit of sweetness in there. It makes it a little bit more tasty. And then the last ingredient to make it a nice thin dressing is going to be orange juice. So you can see each one of these is going to contribute to that overall fruit and vegetable intake. Our goal with the Mediterranean diet is 7 to 9. So we're working on that in every dish that we make, trying to get those 7 to 9 fruits and vegetables. When we get up to that, we tend to eat a lot less of the other things. We cover our sweetness, so we don't crave chocolate and things. We get that right from our fruits. And then we're full. These are fiber containing, which keep us full and make us want to eat less. And so as the Heart of New Ulm's new mission comes out of Swap It to Drop It will be our new campaign message that you're going to hear. What can you swap out to help drop your weight, drop your bad habits, or to drop some of the other things that you've done in your life that aren't heart healthy? This is one of the ways we can do it. So by taking those ingredients, we're going to add them into a blender, and when that opens up, when we finish that up, we're going to have this beautiful raspberry dressing. Okay, you can see that that's going to be really nice. We can add it to taste on top of this. And we're going to toss that throughout the entire salad. Again, this is working to avoid that salad fatigue. We've once again introduced something else that's going to completely change the flavor of our salad, keep it interesting, and yet, even out in the heat, we've done this in less than 10 minutes, right? We have a nice salad. We've incorporated a high fiber item with our edamame. We've made all of these come together, and we have a really great tasting raspberry salad, okay? So the basic ingredients again on that were the frozen raspberries, the white wine, a little bit of sugar, and some orange juice. Those 4 ingredients is what's going to make that wonderful raspberry dressing. Really no fat in here, very little, and you're going to have a great salad, okay? So this is what it's going to come out looking like. Perfect for a barbecue, or if you're making this, it will sit for about a day, but you do want to eat this fairly quickly after putting that dressing on. So if you want to prepare your salad ahead of time, keep your dressing separate and add it when you're going to serve. Otherwise your greens are going to get pretty soggy, all right? So you want to hold off on making that, all right? And that's it. These are 3 very, very easy recipes. You've seen another way to dress up those salads, to incorporate one more food into making it worthwhile to put that salad together. I want to mention too, I get the same question every time, what's the difference between our local foods and those bought in the store? Every day outside of the garden, your vegetables do lose a little bit of their nutrient value. So if you have a shipping time, you can be sure that your nutrients are a little bit lower. So those picked today are going to be the highest nutrients. It also cuts down our fuel use. Actually, if everybody ate 1 meal locally per week, we could actually reduce our oil consumption by 1 million barrels per week, just by having 1 local meal per week. So start to make that your goal. Utilize your farmer's market, and this is a great way to eat healthy and support your own community. All right.